Hello friends and family, welcome back to our home. I have a lot of green vintage glassware mostly, and some little knickknacks on the shelving up there behind me to show you in the front entrance today. It's taken me a while, but we've been enjoying the color green around here. I love it. I really feel that it's a nice transition from Valentine's Day things. I love my green glassware and I love green pottery, so I must have found a lot of it easily and found it very reasonable. So I've loved, as I've mentioned, candy dishes and apothecaries because I really like the little finials, and I like them footed. That's just such a favorite shape to me. So I'm trying to remember this one here, the first big one. I found a few of these very recently. Now this vase too is new, so I'll talk about that in a little bit. I thought it would be fun to take some of the smaller pieces that I've enjoyed finding over the years and just put a little votive in them to brighten them up. That's your Asian button pattern. And I didn't realize until just a bit ago I was looking up the candy dish down on the end that I just thrifted, and they said it was L.E. Smith. So I always thought that was a Fenton thing, but maybe not. I did find one that said Fenton that looked very much like this one, so it's sometimes hard to tell. There's a lot of similarities in them, but sometimes just the finial will be slightly different. But I think the one I found said Fenton, and this is Indiana glass. Over several years, I did end up finding a second one. So I do have the other one down there, and I loved last year. If you recall, I had them on the shelving in the living room way up high. I had a lot of glassware like this and a lot of pottery in the living room. But I've done something very, very different this year, I think, in the living room. I think you're gonna like it, but I'm gonna save that video till next time. I'll just do the front entrance today and upstairs at the top of the stairs. Now, I did just put out a video showing that these were labeled Fenton, little teeny label on them, and they were the pair at Annie's Attic in Buffalo, Minnesota. So I fell for the beautiful olive green and I think they call that the thumbprint pattern. I hope that's focusing. They're beautiful and they're so heavy, and they're exactly like a pair I have in milk glass, which had been my favorite pair of milk glass candlesticks. So rather than put some tall tapers in there, I decided it would be more fun to put a couple of these thrifted little olive diamond point votives in so I could use tea lights. And these are from a whole set I bought on Amazon, where I've got a little remote and I can turn them all off or on at the same time. So that comes in handy. And this you saw in the same video that was just put out of us going to 3 antique malls. That was at Annie's Attic also. I was very happy to find that, very reasonable. So I looked it up again, and it says that it was Indiana glass again. And that little coin patterned one is Fostoria. in olive. And that was also done, that pattern, in different shapes too. Now this I just found at Salvation Army a week ago. I was very surprised it was there. I was so happy because I was looking for green stuff, and I'm always thrilled if I can find green vintage glassware. So this is another one that they said is L.E. Smith and the Daisy and Button. It was $4.99 and I was so shocked, but I have it on video. I will be putting out that thrifting video. Hopefully I'll try to get that done too, because I've got a lot of decor here, to get done in this month. So that was that reasonable, $4.99, because there was a little chip on the back of this ruffled top edge there. So some of it was chipped, but I patched it up. It's way in back there. I used some epoxy glue to fill it in, and it dried very clear. That was just to fill it in a little bit so it didn't feel so rough if you picked it up over there. So that didn't bother me. I was so happy to get that for $4.99. That was just great. It's very showy. And this I've had for quite a while. It's probably an antique. It's a very heavy piece of glass. I've shown it in the kitchen videos in March. I don't know anything about it. I did forget to look that one up. But this could be Fenton. Little ruffled hobnail one. And like I said, I don't know either about this one. Very unique pattern. You can see it better from the inside maybe. And this is a lovely dish I found for just a few dollars, probably at Bibles for Missions years ago. I've had an orange one like it, and this green one. They have a very lovely pattern on it, but I thought I would put some butterscotch type candy. Norm likes that once in a while. Now this is very different. I weekend and decided to get this for my birthday when we went down to Cannon Falls, Minnesota. There is a countryside antique mall there that is so fun, with 2 floors, very big. And it is a gorgeous emerald green crackle glass. But look at the top on this. It is very, very ruffled. Just beautiful. I was so surprised when I saw that in their upstairs level. I did check out without it, and we went and got some lunch in town there, but I told Norm that there was this beautiful crackle glass vase with a big ruffled top on it upstairs, and I told him exactly where it was, and he wanted to go back there, which was like a block away after we had lunch, and go back in and get it for me. It was $24, so I thought that was a real deal. I just looked it up right now, and they said it is early 1900s that they're guessing. I just happened to look at one particular website that was actually asking for suggestions. And they were saying, I did not know this because I haven't studied crackle glass or art glass very much at all, that crackle glass was started in America. They were starting to make it here in the early 1900s. And I didn't realize this. It's a pretty fun fact that they actually did it to cover up flaws in order to save the piece. So if it came out with flaws in it or a bad flaw, they just must have done something different to it than to make it crackled. So I think it's really pretty because, well, I've always liked crackle glass. I have quite a few little creamers that I've collected over the years, and they're, I don't know if I have any amber ones, but I know I have green ones. And I always thought they were really fun. I hope your March has been wonderful so far. We're doing okay. Norm has been very sore. It's been a real struggle for him to do much around here because he's just getting more and more pain from having this hernia that his surgery is scheduled for the 25th. So he's been waiting all month, and it just seems like it's getting worse. It's hurting him more. So he doesn't like me to talk about it, but thank you so much for all of you that have said that you're praying for him and for his surgery to be a success. I'm sure it will. We have a lot of confidence in the same surgeon that will be doing it that did surgery on him a year ago. So thank you for your wonderful, sweet comments and showing how much you care. We really appreciate you. Over here on the door, I decided just to put a simple green, maybe that's, I don't know if that could be a 70s. I will have to look again on the back of the plaque, but I do have two of them, and I did share them over the past 2-3 years that we've been making videos. It originally, Norm sprayed it for me in a softer, more muted green that you can probably pick up that color, but I didn't like it. I thought it was too boring and a little too dark. So I hope you can see that what I did was spray from the top down that way, one direction, so as to highlight the top of the mushrooms and blades of grass, and give a little bit of a highlight in the limey green. So it really did help texture it. I think it turned out much better. I didn't want to do the whole thing in lime green. I didn't want it solid. I just love the highlights. The other one has flowers on it with a butterfly. So I picked this one for now, just to put something green on the door. And I really struggled trying to figure out what to put over here. I had this lovely frame, mahogany looking, and the picture I printed out years ago. I remember putting it at the top of the stairs over that bookcase, not that one that belongs to Steve, but a mahogany one that had belonged to Norm's great aunt that it shows up in our oldest videos. So I did not have a starburst type clock up there and 2 sconces. I just would print out holiday and seasonal pictures as I've been showing in the front entrance here. I would do that for the top of the stairs. So I kind of was looking around to see what I had that would be green or spring looking, and I wanted the brown frame. And I pulled the frame out of the closet, among many others that I've been purchasing over the years, and I opened up the back and I started looking through the pictures that I had printed out for this frame. So I had several other pictures, but I was so thrilled when I saw this. I was very, very happy that this does not look crowded over here because it's such a sweet picture. Very nice detail. I'm sorry, you'll get a little reflection from me over here. There was a a website that I'd used for years that let you use these photographs of all kinds, this art, for your desktop wallpaper. And I seem to have lost track of that website. But I saved many, many pictures for using for screensaver photos. So that's why I was collecting those pictures. But isn't that sweet? I guess, a white deer is kind of rare, albino deer. That's so cute. What is fun, too, is that we have had opossums in our yard, and we've got videos of them. One of them was hanging around eating peanuts right by the back door with the raccoons that showed up right at dusk. But they are your friend. If you read about opossums, you'll discover how important they are for eating bugs and cleaning up your backyard of unwanted critters too. So I think they are very special. Yes, they're spooky looking. Very spooky looking. I especially don't like that tail, but that tail helps them balance in a tree. Yes, very fun to read. So I hope you might do that sometime. Let's go see all the critters over here I ended up with. Well, this was quite a challenge, I must say. Some of these critters I had in the dining room last year, but I did have to add a few more in order to make it work out here on this fun shadow box that we got a couple years ago now at Up Your Alley Vintage in New Richmond, Wisconsin. They are no longer in business, though. It was a wonderful place, and we bought many things from that couple. We really, really had fun there. They were so nice. I hope they're doing well. So this, I thrifted this little single salt rooster probably a couple years ago, and several years back at the very beginning of when I made my first kitchen video, I've been sharing this sweet little swan planter. So I did stick a tiny little piece of leafy greenery in there, plastic, that I've had for many years. And these were a new salt and pepper set for me, maybe at least a year ago. I've had this sweet little Rose Lane pottery owl, along with a couple others that are by them with the wonderful plastic eyes. I just love them. I've had that for many, many years in my owl bedroom, but I wanted to use it down here because it's a sweet little one and such a pretty olive green. And you've seen my little frog figurine before, and you saw me thrift this sweet little frog from the last video that we just did of the 3 antique malls. So that one was from St. Paul Mall. Very, very lovely place to shop. And I found this little deer at, I think, Goodwill. I was really surprised. It was either Goodwill or Legacy Thrift. I thought it was so cute. I don't think I've shown it to you yet. I was probably waiting for spring, but it is a little hobbyist piece, just like the cute frog. So that fit in fine, especially since I ended up with the deer picture over there. And I thrifted those at Unique Thrift Store in New Hope, Minnesota. I believe it's New Hope. And they were in a bag hanging up along with a bunch of other things. And I did share these last year. I was so surprised. It was $6 for a bag full of salt and peppers. All I cared about was that set. it was worth it to me. I didn't care about the other items. Now this is very crazy, and I may have shown you this huge kitty years ago in my wild mirrored bathroom on a little tiny reticulated metal shelf all by itself. It's a very big Japan ceramic mama cat and her two little ones that I just decided to put over to the side because I wanted a little more on that shelf than just her and the two kittens. So I had shared this really tiny little silly turtle over the years, probably a couple years now. And I believe I did show you this last year because I think I found it a year ago. So cute. I was so thrilled. I am just so excited when I find frogs. I don't know. I mean, cute ones like this in silly positions, silly grins. I think they're just adorable. So I don't know anything about him. I did not pick him up ahead of time to try to remember. And I've shared this very fun, fancy horse with lots of nice gold. It looks like an old mare, huh? Kind of looking in sad shape, but I do love it. I found that several years ago, and it's been on the shadow back box out here with my horse collection, little horse figurines about his size. And I did share this adorable hobbyist snail out in the dining room last year, along with some of these other things. So I think that worked out fun to look at when we come in the back door here. Just a variety of greenish, one brown deer, but mostly green figurines. I didn't even know if I was going to have enough to work that out, but the cat was a last minute thought. And I'm glad that I did think of it because it's nice and tall to fill up the center there. So I hope you like how that turned out here. I'm happy with it. I had so much fun decorating the living room. Even though I knew I was going to be doing this out here first, I just really had a lot of fun. It's very different. It's quite elaborate, lush looking in there. Very springy, so I hope you're going to like that. But I'm going to make you wait. So let's go upstairs instead and just look at some things that I decided on for up there. I don't want to make too long of a video again. I also really struggled with what to put on this shelf up here. I usually do love having the little glass pieces. I think they're adorable, and I usually weaken and buy them when I find something really unique. I always enjoy finding these sweet little votives in different colors. The orange ones are wonderful. I don't find them very often. And this was a really sweet Amberina creamer, little tiny creamer. I'm not sure what all is on that pattern. It's hard for me to tell. I don't know. But this was a really unique piece. It is a bell, an actual bell. I thought that was really nice. A couple years ago at least that I found that. And these little children's cups are so sweet. I just bought a larger green one. I have a small green one and a larger green one. And this is the only Amberina one, and it is a different bird on the back. Yeah. So that looks to me like a peacock. Yeah, so that's a really sweet piece and a simpler votive there. I found two little covered jars. This one is very simple, and the other one over here is a lot more elaborate. It almost looks like a kid's depression glass dish, for a dish set, little canister set. I don't know. I don't think I've looked that up, but I thought it would be fun to put a candle in it. And I love these Amberina pieces. So cool. That's a very heavy one, and the one on the other end is heavy too. These are fairly lightweight. I thought they were really neat, and I happened to find a second one much later, like a year later. So I have two of those. I don't know who made them, but I really liked the fact that they were shaped different with the little pedestal. That's pretty cool. And this has an eagle on it. Don't know if you're going to be able to pick that up or not. Pretty hard, I know. But it does. And I think I have an amber one. It's all amber and also the same eagle. So this is also a very pretty, looks more like your thumbprint. Very sweet, heavy little creamer. And another one that looks more Fenton hobnail. I don't know anything about that. It's just a basket weave one that I found a couple years ago. Always love those in any color. Usually try to pick them up if they're reasonable. Some antique malls, yes, they can get pretty pricey, but I've gotten them very, very inexpensive, especially the olive green ones. And they're in the living room, the olive green ones that I have. So that's a very pretty votive. Stars. Yeah, I don't know who made that one. And that's a duplicate. A little more yellow on the handle than the other one. But I hope you like that. I tried all greens and I wasn't very happy with it. So I did decide to add the orange, but that is St. Patty's Day colors. So it's just fine. I think it turned out fun. So that's what it looks like without the lights on. I really enjoy those colors, and I love changing for the different holidays, like the 4th of July. I just love to put blue and turquoise and maybe some red. It's a fun shelf to put glass on because it allows the light to come through from underneath. It's not a solid shelf. So it's also great because if you're downstairs and you put knickknacks that have a kind of an ugly bottom on them or a hole in the bottom, you see that from downstairs. It's not very attractive. So sometimes when I do that, I'll put a little strip of plastic lace all the way across, like I did with my snowmen and possibly with the Santa mugs. I don't remember for sure about that, but at least when you use little glass things like this, it shows beautifully from downstairs. So that's one of the things I really like about this shelf. Well, this bookcase where I have our radios, some of our radios. I don't have any pink ones out here. I have 2 pink ones. There's 2 in one bedroom and 2 or 3 in another bedroom. But these are the ones that I have out here most of the time. But this was a challenge. I just love this little crazy planter. We do have a very large orange strip glaze one that I have shared in our videos. Many years ago I found the orange one, but this one was a couple years ago from Hunt and Gather in Edina, Minnesota. Yeah. It's got the same pattern on the mold, but I think I've seen this miniature one in the orange too. Don't know about any other colors. But I thought I would just put a little more olive things. This is pretty much olive, little art glass, bud vase. Harder to see when it's got more background brown covering it, but it is olive, like this fun stretch vase. And these two pieces I found years ago. I had them pretty much when I started making videos. They are unique. I thought it would blend nice with some of the greens in it, with the wood tone. I have two of these mirrors that I thrifted that Norm spray painted for me. When I first started showing you the things below, I did have a couple candles in here, tapers that were an odd green, and I didn't like that, so I did put these in that are glass, and they do match the olive glassware below much better. This is where I had the deer picture in the spring years ago because of the bookcase. That frame was nice, the brown frame, so that's what I was talking about. It was up here. I decided it would be fun to take a Japan owl from our green bedroom and some lovely green and orange books to use to raise him up, because he is looking down a little bit, and I just love using books to raise things up like that. I think that's really a nice look. I've had a lot of fun finding little hobbyist and big ones too, leaf dishes that are splatter, typically glaze. This one is probably one of my tiniest ones. Very fun. I typically find them at the thrift stores. This green California drip glaze planter, I may not have shared that for quite a long time. It is pretty wild, but I thought maybe it would go with these crazy hobbyist things up here in the same colors. This I found quite a long time ago. It is so wild that there's been many times I haven't really felt like there was anywhere that it seemed to go with other things in the living room. But now that I've found a year ago two of these hobbyist lanterns at an antique store in downtown Robbinsdale, Minnesota. I can't think of the name of it right off the top of my head, but I could put a note in the video here what it is. Very nice shop that's just loaded with very cool mid-century things. This I just found last year. So sweet. It's really small. I am glad that I did end up with 4 things that worked up here on this shelf. I completely forgot about this one because it was in the living room already with some other potted plants. But at the last minute, I was looking around and I did find something in that same colors. Over here, a year ago, I was trying to remember where I found this. It was so inexpensive, and I believe it's vintage. I can't say how old it is, but I did finally recall that it was from the family pathways in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin that I saw this. I think Norm was even out in the car. I was so thrilled when I could show him how neat this was. The colors are just beautiful, and whoever did it did a wonderful job on it. It is a faux burl wood frame, so it is quite dark. Now, I am displaying this in the green owl bedroom because I do have crewel pictures in there, needlepoint or crewel. So it's the colors of a lot of the things I have in the green bedroom, but I just wanted to bring it out for this video just to show it again. I don't know when I'll get around to doing the owl bedroom again. Hopefully this year, but I did just take it off the wall again and look on the back. There's no signature, but it is stamped for the business that framed it, and that name I can't quite make out. The stamp wasn't perfect, but it did say St. Cloud, Minnesota, and the phone number is lacking an area code, which I thought was kind of funny. And also, the reason why I think it is older is because Minnesota was abbreviated MINN. I think that was something done in earlier years. So I hope you think this is a fun look for a change. Norm has a crazy sign on the bedroom door over here, his western door to the left, but I'm not going to show you that now because that's something that he will enjoy showing you when he does his western bedroom. In the stairwell here, I have two little ceramic owls that are actually new. My sister gave me the bright green one on the right, and Norm gave me the darker green one that is a drab green, and I'm still having trouble with greens looking blue-green, so this darker owl is probably going to look more blue-green or gray-green. Norm bought the dark one at our grocery store. It was only like $5, but I thought it had a really neat texture, and I just liked the size of it, and I love green owls. So I did dress them up with some of my glass eye collection that I got on Amazon that was animal eyes for owls and cats and lizards, they even said. I think that really makes them fun. I'll show you a little bit closer. And the hobbyist vase is something I don't think I've shown you yet. I don't remember where or when I found it, but it's been quite a while. I've got such a fun collection, a bin full of these little hobbyist vases of all different sizes, and you probably have seen a spring video with them in it, or a fall one. I've done that too, because there's so many of them that are in browns or oranges. You don't find green very often. I have very few green ones. So that is all I have for today. Norm and I thank you so much for your wonderful support again. We enjoy your comments so much, and you are really, really good to us. You are so complimentary, and we appreciate hearing what you're interested in, and we like to know how you're doing too. We pray for all of you to be well and begin a very happy spring ahead. Thank you so much. Bye for now.